Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us. It's your friend James Shaw. Trust you're doing okay. And we're going to do what we always do, which is talk to elite people who are doing elite things. And we have a really important topic today that I'm excited to chat with you about. We've got a great guest. Chasity, you want to introduce yourself to everybody? Tell them who you are, a little bit about you, where you're from, and all that kind of stuff.
Absolutely. I'm Chasity Rosales with the Preferred Closing Specialist team. We have a team, my husband and I, here in El Paso, Texas. We've been in business for several years now, been a team leader, stepped out of that role to grow a team. And last year we helped 266 families, mostly VA loans. And so excited to talk about that today.
Yeah, we're honoring our military and our veterans today and really helping us understand the opportunity to help that community. There's some misconceptions about it. Some of us just have a lack of understanding about how to best serve that community, and yet there is so much opportunity there. So let's talk about it. And first, why? Why is this community so important to you guys?
My husband is a veteran, and I am still serving in the Army Reserve myself. I've done 28 years and still serving. Mostly veterans or spouses work on our team. And when we first started in this business, I was thinking back to the first time that Jim and I had bought a house. And at that time, we were both veterans still. We had our VA loan, and we ended up buying a house with a conventional loan, and we didn't even know it. And I was like, wow. The agent never asked me about it. They knew we were military, never explained it, never explained the buying process. And as I got into this and started doing it and hearing more stories from other military families and veterans, I understood that, you know what? We're a population that's easily taken advantage of because we don't understand our own resources out there. And so I vowed then that when we built our business, that we would ensure that every military family or veteran family that we served understood the resources that they had and how to use those resources, and that those that were in our circle would as well.
Well, it sounds like you've had a massive impact on the community. We thank you and your husband and your team members for your service as well. Thank you so much for all you do, and then supporting your community as you expand. I think you've got two spots. First, veterans and members of the military don't know what's available to them. That I think we all just assume that they do because we work in this world, and yet you just told us they don't. And
No.
then many agents don't understand the opportunity as well. And without faulting your agent, it's just possible your agent didn't know the opportunity of a VA loan for you and couldn't guide you. So we've got kind of two areas to talk about. So let's talk first about, how you educate your military and veteran community about what's available to them so you can best support them. Will you walk us through that?
Yes, sir. We do that when we do our needs analysis, just like any other agent and any other buyer. When you're talking to them on the phone that first time and you're assessing their needs, you're also asking them questions to assess how well equipped they are, how knowledgeable they are with just the buying process in general. A lot of times when we're talking to them, they will regurgitate back to us things that they've saw online or they've heard other people say about the VA loan that is incorrect. And for example, most of them say, oh, I don't know if I want to use my VA loan because I'm saving that for retirement. Well, let's talk about that. Explain that to me. What do you mean by that? Well, I don't want to use that loan now because I want to save it to my retirement. So we talk about what that looks like. Talk to me about what do you mean saving it until retirement. A lot of them don't know that they can use it over and over. And so things like that we're looking for in that needs analysis to assess if we need to dive into things a little bit more, or if they've used it before, how many times they've used it, and ask specific questions that we can back brief the lender on to make sure that they're being guided on both sides.
You have some very specific questions you ask. When you sit down with somebody, are you active or not active, right? I mean, that matters too. An active duty military member could move frequently, so they need to know what some of their options are. I've talked to many agents that work in military communities like yours, Tulio, who's in Colorado Springs. We've got friends that are selling in Fayetteville, North Carolina, that
Mm-hmm.
that people might be moving every 3 years, and yet they don't see the opportunity how they can still build wealth through real estate. So I imagine there's a bunch of questions you might ask if they're active duty or not, if they've got different, are they planning to use a VA loan? Maybe they've received some sort of award that offers them something. I mean, what are some key things we should be asking when we're working with a military family?
Well, in our area, we know most of them are going to be active duty because Fort Bliss is the second largest Army installation in the United States. But we still make sure that we ask if they are active. One of the key questions to ask them is, are they going to resell that house when they leave, or do they plan to keep it and build wealth through real estate, which is something we're very passionate about. If they buy modestly and correctly, they could milk that eligibility that they have over several homes and build wealth through that type of retirement. And we explained that to them as well. Now, if they tell me I absolutely do not want to be a landlord, Chastity, and it is not for me, I did it or I heard it. If they've never done it, we talk about the pros and cons, just so they for us, it's always about them having the education, make the right decision, not just hearing something and making decisions based on hearsay. If they say they don't, then we talk about what that looks like in 3 years, because 3 to 4 years is about max, somewhere they're going to stay unless they're a larger installation, and they could do interpost PCS, which means they just stay here another iteration, which is even better for them to build equity. But we talk about what the equity looks like. Now, the last few years, that's been great. We've had soldiers that bought a house 8 months ago and sold it, and I made them 50,000 because of all the equity gained during the COVID. That is not happening anymore, so that conversation is different. And if you are going to buy and you cannot break even on this house, does it make a difference? A lot of agents aren't going to ask that because they want to get paid. We get paid when we close, right? So them not buying is not necessarily the best thing for us, but we have to act in the best interest of the client. So if they're saying, I don't want to, and you know they're buying in an area or a new house that are not going to provide them the equity gains they need to break even in your market, that's a real conversation you need to have and let them then make the decision. Because I promise you, if you give people the right tools and information to make decisions and you care about them first, it'll always come back to you in a positive way. They may refer a friend to you. They may not buy it, but they may refer 3 friends to you. So I encourage you just to always say, this is it. I mean, and you make the decision, and I'm going to help you guide that decision.
That's what people want anyway. They want to be given good information to make a great decision. My guess would be that you have many, many people who come to El Paso who know nothing about El Paso. They are active duty and they find out this is where you're going for this period of time. If you've got active duty military moving in and around and out and about, you've got to be a great resource, not only about just how to buy a house, but the community as a whole. So what do you do there to help somebody that literally has been told you're going to El Paso?
Yeah, great question. So we always say that we're not just their agent, we're also a concierge service for them. So we've created a relocation program that provides them resources before they get to El Paso. Like on our website, we have a relocation page that tells them all about the resources and the places, our favorite food, doctors, nail salons, hair salons. We just thought, as military spouses that have moved, what are some of the important things that we need when we're moving to a new city, which is evolving, right? We add to that list. When we see a spouse on our spouse page that asks for something, we're like, man, if 3 of them are asking it, there's other spouses out there that need it. So we update that list. We also have like fun facts about El Paso. So if they're not here and they're coming in, we put them either on an email or text strip, whichever they prefer, and they are getting weekly information about cool things about El Paso that leads up to their move. That just makes it a little bit more exciting for them. So we do things like that, and when we talk to them on the phone and we're doing that needs analysis, we're also talking to them about what their lifestyle is. We have 6 major parts of our city, and each part of that offers something different. So when I'm talking to them in their needs analysis, I'm asking about what kind of lifestyle they like, what do they like to do, where do they prefer to live, quiet, a little bit more active, and then we're talking to them about those communities, and they get a map of the area that shows those communities as well.
You can get them tickets to the El Paso Chihuahuas. Everybody needs them, right? I always love the minor league baseball teams in town, and yours is the El Paso Chihuahuas, which is just kind of fun. Okay, I heard you say something in there that you'll see them posting things on the military spouses page. Is this a Facebook group you have? Is this another way you're connecting with your database, or is that just something you're a part of?
Nope. I have 2 of the bigger ones here, over 3,000 people in each of those groups that I moderate. And then we have another one that another girl moderates that's also got over 3,000 people. I've always been inclined to be a resource giver. I love helping people do better than what they know, or giving them resources that they didn't know existed to help them in life. And so I just always post there, like if there's a special dinner in town or a special event or something for kids to do or a concert, we post them in there. And other two other spouses ran those groups before me, but because I was such a resource giver, when they left to move on to another duty installation, they asked me to take over those groups.
Wow.
And so we just use it as a positive way to spread information about the community. Not only that, but what's going on in the military. We have Air Force here now as well. So we post stuff that's going on in the Army, post stuff that's going on in the Air Force, like if we're getting a raise in the Army, right? Or they just changed the days of leave that the male soldier gets when their spouse has a baby, which is amazing. Things like that. So it just keeps them up to date on what's going on. And I say, always thinking about it. Don't come of it thinking about it as a salesperson and you're targeting these people to make money. Think of it as you're targeting them to make their life better. What can I give them today to make their life better?
Yeah.
Or love where they live a little more.
It's so good. I think everything you talked about honestly would apply to any real estate agent who serves any group of people in any market area. And you know, we have two choices when it comes to our business. We can make our business about people or about money. If you make it about people, then you'll use money to help them, which is what you're doing, right? Look, you guys are selling a bunch of houses and you're doing just fine over there, but you use the income that comes into your team to go give back to the people. Now, if your business is going to be all about money, then you have to use people to make more money, but you're all about the people. You're winning. You're selling real estate at a high level by caring about your people and giving back and pouring into them, which is just so great. So what advice would you give to an agent who says, all right, I want to help people too? And maybe they're military or retired military, or they're in a military community and they just want to support that community. What advice would you give to that agent?
Come from contribution, and I know that's a buzzword that we use throughout our community, but it's one thing to talk about it, it's another to be about it. So caring about people and learning about whatever product you sell. If you have a passion to serve military families and veterans, learn about the VA product. And I'll give you an example. During COVID, it was so horrific trying to get a VA loan accepted, because the agents were telling sellers not to accept the loan because it's not going to appraise. Let's all face it, all of us were selling homes that were overpriced during COVID. We knew it, and hopefully your client knew it because you told them that, because that was the state of the market at the time. That doesn't mean that we shouldn't have taken a VA loan. We knew it was going to appraise for what the market worth was. Those military families were coming with money to the table. They were making the same guarantees as those with conventional, yet we're out here as the professional in the industry saying, hey, don't take it because their appraisal is more conservative. Well, here's a news flash, James. For the last 3 years, we've been neck and neck with how we appraise against the conventional loan. And last year, the conventional loan only appraised 0.5% more often than the VA loan. So we can't say conventional is better, it's less conservative, because it's neck and neck. So I would encourage you first to learn that, learn how the Army moves, learn some of the lingo that we use. I always say this, and I know you love this word, James, because that was your show, shift. And I always say military and veterans are shift proof, especially active duty. We're always moving. Every 3 to 4 years we're moving. So if you build a niche within that community, you have consistent business. You don't have to worry about like some of other agents in the market right now that is in that season that is kind of weird right now. We don't have enough business in it. We're scared. But if you create a niche through this, or you create a niche through something else, the key is education about all things that niche, so you can be the expert. So when you're talking, they see the value. Versus talking to another agent. There's many times that we've interviewed with them and they're talking to us and they're talking to somebody else. And it's simple things that I hear them say that I'm like, oh, did the other person tell you that? Or did they tell you this? Out of curiosity, did you know this? And they're like, oh my God, I did not. And so it creates a value, and it creates an opportunity to convert more and to help more people.
It's really, really great. And then I imagine you have to advocate for them, because it sounds like a lot of times the military families that you work with don't actually know what's available to them. They don't know what their options are. They have misconceptions about, you know, that they can use their VA loan more than once, and some maybe not even have to pay property taxes depending on certain things. Like, you've got to advocate for this group.
That's right. And if you're in Texas, and I know South Carolina passed this recently, if you're 100% service connected disabled, you don't pay property tax. And for us, that's amazing. And on another side of that, not just they don't pay property tax, but if they're 100% buying a house from another service connected person that doesn't pay all their taxes, you have to manage that with the lender and the title company. If not, it's going to create a debt for them at the end of the year. Or if the military family's buying a new house and they don't take improved property tax, they only take it on the land, they're going to have a debt at the end of the year. We're not only real estate agents that open doors and write contracts, negotiate contracts, and show up to closing. We are actually looking out for things that come up throughout the transaction that even the people that are charged to be the subject matter expert in that area does not know. So we've learned this over time to say, oh, wait a minute, watch out for this. Oh, wait a minute, watch out for that. Oh, wait, that lender's overcharging you on what they're allowed, their max allowable to charge you. Oh, seller, don't take this. If you don't want to pay any closing costs, then you can't take a VA loan. That's not true. If the lender doesn't charge the origination fee, you absolutely can take it, and they're not required to pay anything. So it's just little things like those that if you're really paying attention and you're passionate about this community, you're going to learn and you're going to make sure they're taken care of. And I always say, the people that are out there volunteering to give their life for our country, they deserve homeownership and they deserve amazing representation. And it's our job to do that for any of our clients.
My aha from chatting with you today is that just be more knowledgeable than the agents across the street. When you know more about what's available and what options people have and how to guide them, they don't sell and buy houses every day. We do. Be just as knowledgeable as you can to guide people through a process. I'm sitting here going, listen, if I were a military family moving to El Paso, there isn't any doubt I would suggest they work with you, because I can trust that you're going to guide them through the process in the right way. I just think it's so genius. So what's the final tip you want to share? I just want you to think about agents in general. You guys have built a massively successful business in a short amount of time. What advice would you share with agents out there?
You know, the controversy that's going on right now with the lawsuits about the buyer agent representation, I think we have to be cognizant about that, because if you're paying attention to what people are saying online, they're saying agents are a scam, commission is a scam, we don't need them anyway. It's our job to show them how we need them and how they need us as a team. They say, oh, we just need an app now to find the house, and then we just need one agent to just go show it. They don't understand the value of the representation that we give. And I'll give an example back to the property tax for our military family. Had we not been involved and that family thought it was as easy as going to just go to an app, find a house I want, and have somebody write a contract, they would have had a $5,800 debt due at the end of the year that nobody could have explained to them. They would have got to run around at the end of the year because they wouldn't have known where that $5,800 come from. Or we just had a seller who hired somebody else that underpriced their house $30,000 and undermarketed it. When we came in, we showed them the marketing. We showed them how they were underpriced $30,000, put them on the market, got them more money. If we're not showing and screaming our value like that from the rooftop, why would they think we're better?
Right. That's great advice. This has been great. Thank you again for spending time with us and teaching us today and educating us. And again, thank you to you and your husband, and you got members of your team who serve as well. So thank you to all of you for serving and just for pouring into our people today. Chasity, it was great to have you on. Thank you so much for being here.
You too, James. Thank you for having us.
You got it. Bye-bye.